everyone, it's that time once again. Thank you for joining us. So glad you could be here today as we talk about an interesting found footage horror film called Outwaters. It's directed by Robbie Banfitch, who also stars in this along with three other individuals. They play a group of friends who are going out into the desert to film a music video because one of the friends is a singer, and what better place? And plus, an excuse to go on a little bit of a road trip. Well, when they find the location, they soon start to experience some very unnerving and creepy things, and soon they find themselves in a hellish nightmare that they can't seem to escape with no explanation of why it's happening. And all told from the point of the camera being run by Robbie, who is he also goes by the character name Robbie in the film. Uh, yeah, it's an interesting film. The found footage films, for me, folks, if you've watched this show at all, it's a little bit tough for me. They're hit or miss, and this one. It's not a complete miss for me. I did enjoy a lot of aspects of it. For me, though, it kind of goes too long. We've got some great characters in here. Robbie Zagorak and his brother Scott, who's played by Scott Schammel. I liked the relationship between these two, the dynamic. We get some insight on their home life and the way their mom is and how she sees them, and kind of standard sibling stuff, but it felt authentic, which is always tough to sell with a found footage film. That's always tough. It always feels set up, some of these relationships, but here it felt natural. I liked that, and the relationship between the friends as well. Michelle August, played by Michelle May, is the singer of the group, and really enjoyed. She's got a great voice in here as she is an actual singer, which it always helps, right? Selling the realism. But I enjoyed the dynamic they had with her as well, and they didn't work a love interest angle in here, which I liked. I appreciated that too with the relationships. They're all just friends, and we barely get any conflict in here either. Usually with the found footage films, you get forced conflict in here, and here you don't really get that. There is a couple of scenes where there's tension, but it makes sense given what's going on. And then Angelo Bassolis plays Ange, the makeup person, and I enjoyed her character too. She is great. Each one had their own personality and dynamic, but you can see why they're friends. I guess where it was kind of a miss for me is that the first half of this film goes a bit too long. I'm all for getting introduced to characters, connecting with characters, giving me that character stuff, but we get it established fairly quick, and it goes just a little bit long for me. And then the second half, I love the surreal and the batshit craziness that goes on when they pull the trigger and things get just hellish. And I do mean hellish. Mad props to the special effects, which Robbie also did. The practical effects are abound. There's just some weird creatures occasionally that show up that were done really well. All of it looked great, and giving you confusion that the characters have as they're experiencing what they're experiencing. And I enjoyed that too. It went a little long in there as well. It could have been trimmed up quite a bit. It's got a little bit exhausting at points. And I was very happy that we don't get a lot of exposition of what is going on. They leave it up to the audience quite a bit for you to figure out exactly what is happening to these individuals and why. And it ends gruesome. I mean, the practical effects in here were great, considering this is found footage, small crew, shot POV style. The way they handle all of it really sells it. But again, at the end of it, I felt conflicted. I really did, because I'm like, I enjoyed a lot of aspects of this, but the resolution that we get is not really a resolution for me, and It's the same thing that we've gotten for other found footage films like Blair Witch and a few others as well. Even Cloverfield in some aspects, you get that kind of dangling ending of sorts. And while I'm all for leaving the audience up for interpretation, you do get the feeling of what exactly are you trying to say here. So it gets a little muddled as it goes along. I think if it had been shorn up a bit, trimmed up a bit for sure, and maybe 15 minutes or so cut out of it, bring it down to closer to a 90-minute or 100-minute runtime. But it's was just a little overstaying its welcome for me. But if you're a found footage fan, this is one of the better crafted found footage films. The sound design is fantastic, and as I mentioned, practical effects abound, looked really good. So there you have it, folks. Outwaters was a mixed bag for me. Love the surrealism in the second half more than the first half, but all of it, I think, just could have been shorter. Kind of like this review. So thank you so much for watching. Please check out our Patreon if you haven't already. Like and subscribe, all that here onto YouTube. I thank you for your support. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.